Hi Thrivers. If you're going through a divorce and wondering, will I even qualify for a mortgage on my own? I want you to take a deep breath for a second, because the answer might be yes, but only if this is done correctly. Today we're going to talk about something that is one of the biggest misunderstandings I see, and honestly, one of the biggest missed opportunities. How to use spousal support or child support to qualify for a mortgage. And more importantly, how do you make sure it actually counts? Because here's the truth. Just because support is written into your agreement does not mean a lender will use it. And I see too many people find out after everything is signed. And this isn't just about numbers, this is about stability. This is about whether you can stay in your home or move into the next one with confidence. There's usually a quiet question underneath all of this. Am I going to be okay? And I want you to hear this. Clarity creates confidence. And when you understand how this works, you can make decisions from a place of strength, not fear. So let's break this down simply. When can support actually be used to qualify for a mortgage? There are three main things lenders are going to look for. Number one, it has to be documented. This means it needs to be in a court order or a fully executed marital settlement agreement. Not verbal, not informal, not something that is just understood. It needs to be documented. It does not exist in the eyes of a lender if it's not documented. Number two, it has to be received consistently. Most loan programs require a history of receiving support. Typically that means about 6 months. And not just that it was paid, that it was actually received and deposited into your individual bank account. So if support is being paid in cash or inconsistently or not clearly traceable, that can become a problem when it comes to the time to qualify. Number three, and this is the one that surprises people the most. It has to continue for at least 3 more years from the time you close your loan. This is where so many agreements unintentionally fall short. If support is only set to last 2 years, even if it's a strong amount, a lender may not be able to use it at all. And I want you to really pause on that. Because imagine making a decision around your home, assuming you can qualify, and then finding out later that you can't. This is where strategy comes in. And this is where I want you to shift how you're thinking. Instead of asking, can I qualify right now? Start asking, what needs to be true in my agreement so that I can qualify? That question changes everything, because now we are not reacting, we're planning. Sometimes it's not about whether support exists, it's about how it's structured, the duration, the start time, the consistency, the documentation. These details matter more than most people realize, and they can be the difference between keeping your home or having to let it go. So let me share a pattern I see often. Someone is awarded support on paper, it looks like enough. They feel a real sense of relief. They move forward thinking, okay, I'll be able to refinance or I'll be able to buy something new. And then they go to get pre-approved and the lender says, we can't use this income. Not because they did anything wrong, but because the agreement didn't align with lending guidelines. And now we're trying to fix something after the fact that could have really been structured differently from the very beginning. Another big mistake I see is timing. People wait until after the divorce is final. They look at mortgage options after the fact. And I understand why. There's so much going on and happening. So many decisions, so many emotions. But the house, it's not just another decision. It's one of the biggest financial decisions you're going to need to make. And it impacts everything else. If you're trying to keep the house or buy something new, mortgage strategy needs to happen early, before the agreement is signed, before terms are locked in. Because once it's finalized, your options can become very limited. Let's talk about a few common mistakes that I see, so you can try to avoid them. not clearly defining when support starts, not clearly defining how long it continues, receiving support but not depositing it properly, mixing it into joint accounts where it's hard to track, and assuming what makes sense emotionally will automatically work financially. I say this with so much respect for the process because divorce is deeply personal. And when it comes to your home, we have to bring both together, the emotional and the financial. Now I want to say this because this is really important. I'm not an attorney. I am not giving you legal advice. What I do is help bridge the gap between divorce agreements and mortgage guidelines because those two worlds do not always speak the same language. And that gap is where people can unintentionally limit their future. So what do you do about this? If you're early in the process, this is your opportunity. This is where you can ask better questions. This is where you can bring in the right guidance. And this is where you can make sure your agreement supports your goals. Not just today, but long term. If you're further along and you already have an agreement in place, don't panic. There still may be options, but now we're going to be working within what already exists. If you're sitting there thinking, I just want to understand what this looks like for me, that is exactly where I can help. The best place to start is with clarity. I created something called the Divorce Home Clarity Quiz. It walks you through a few simple questions, and it helps you start to see what direction may make the most sense for you. That link is going to be in the show notes below. If you already have some details in place and you want to talk through your specific situation, I offer a free 15-minute strategy call. We can look at your support, your income, what may or may not work from a mortgage standpoint, and if you're further along, maybe you already negotiated your terms or you're trying to structure an agreement, there is also a longer, more in-depth consultation where we can really map things out together. I also have a guide and a workbook. If you prefer to think things through at your own pace, all of those links are going to be in the description below. But wherever you are in this process, start with clarity because the decisions you're making right now will shape your next chapter in a very real way. And if this helped you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm here every week helping you understand your options so you can move forward with confidence. Thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you.